Good morning, everyone. I'm Bruna Burney. I'm the author of Adored, and this is Adoring Mornings. This is a segment to count down the days until my debut novel, Adored, is out. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the draft curse. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to overcome this draft curse and finally read your manuscript and be happy. Now, if you don't know what the draft curse is, well then you probably have not finished writing the first draft of your manuscript. Now, when you finish draft number 1, you are absolutely overwhelmed with joy. You finished it. In my case, it was the first time I ever finished any of my stories. I can't even describe how happy and proud of myself that I am to actually finish this. Draft 1 took 4.5 months, and then I thought I would be able to get Adored published by May. It's November, in case you didn't know. Draft 2 through 5 was very stressful. I basically just had to glue myself to my desk and never leave. Draft 6 through 12 was much better. It was just little things that I said maybe in page 3, but I did not say in page 100. It was little things like that. The most difficult was draft 14, 15, and 16. And that's because I just added an extra 2,000 words to the book. Now, if you are still in draft 1 and you're wondering, what the hell? I'm not gonna sit on my desk for an additional 7 months and just revise the same manuscript. If you're as passionate about your book as I think you are, you will. You want to publish your best work. You're not just gonna publish some crap. So yes, it is a very annoying and stressful part of this process. Now, in the middle of it, it seems like it's never going to end. I thought, oh yes, this is the last draft. I think it was like draft 11. And I was like, yes, this is the one. And then I was like, nope, draft 13, draft 15. And then I was like, is this the one? Is this the one? So it does seem like it's never ending. You constantly are like, oh, another draft, and keep clicking file, save as, adding another number to the saved name. So it gets tiring. But if you really love your book and you're really as passionate about it as most authors are, you will do this. You will take the time and do this. Tips on how enduring this dreaded curse. Number 1, what I found very helpful for me was to write down specific facts that I would mention throughout the manuscript on a little notepad. So then whenever I would get to a point that contradicted that, I would be like, wait a minute, I need to go change that in page 13, or I need to go page that in page 200, or whatever. I did keep a notebook throughout the last 5 drafts, which I wish I did sooner. So yeah, just write down specific things that, specific little facts, like, oh, he was in his mid-40s, but then in chapter 20, I was like, he's in his mid-50s. I'm like, wait a minute, that can't be it. So little things like that, a notebook, and just jotting it down as you're reading your manuscript really helps. My other advice is investing in an amazing editor that is going to pay attention to detail. Letting yourself breathe. Really, when you want to burn your computer or rip apart your manuscript, just put it aside for a few days. Sleep. Step away from the coffee. There have been several times when I have been drowning in 5 espressos for 2 to 3 days in a row, and I'm not thinking properly. I'm editing things that don't need to be edited. I'm changing things that made sense. So really let your mind breathe. You are not a robot. Eat. That is very important. There have been numerous days where I've forgotten to eat because I am just drowning in my book. So maybe your body just needs a little rest. Now, my last advice, which I just wrote down this morning, because when I originally wrote the outline for this segment, did not put this in because I was still halfway through the draft curse. It's to mentally find the confidence to let your baby go. This is very hard for me because I'm very self-conscious. I know someone, I'm not gonna say names, but I know people are gonna be like, hey Bruna, or they're going to find something about my book and they're going to write a nasty comment about it or write a nasty review about it. But at the end of the day, if you don't like my book, that's fine. That's the beauty of different books. And that's something that I had to mentally grasp, is that there's some books I don't like. I hated reading The Hunger Games. I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me. I think it had amazing themes and just characters, but I couldn't even get through the first book. It just was not my style. I didn't like it. At the end of the day, you just need to let it go. When I finished draft 17, I went to bed, and then the next morning I took the whole day and reread it. And I felt good. I didn't feel like I had to change anything. I felt like the characters said what they had to say, the scenes explained what they had to explain. I lived through that year of Abigail Chase's life. So once I finished that, and I was like, wow, okay, yes, this is ready. This is ready for people to read and see the people she met, the people she fell in love with, the people she lost, and how she dealt with all of that. So once I finished draft 17, I was like, oh, my baby's ready to go. So that was something that it just takes time. Yep, so that's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not watched any of my other videos, click the name below, and I have it all organized in a playlist. Thanks again, and I'll see you tomorrow.